Good morning, everyone. It's Feature Friday today, and today we actually have a feature. I know sometimes I'm like, let's show you how to use old features, and sometimes I'm like, this is coming, and then I have the ones that we do actually have one, but this one is like bona fide feature. Oh, and as per usual, I haven't tested it, so come on in. Let's do this together. And what I'm talking about is inside of. Let me share my screen and grab coffee at the same time. I think. Let me make sure. What I've done is gone to our YouTube channel. If you're not following Page Wheel, it's the Page Wheel on YouTube. And let's see, 6 days ago we did this one. Okay, so let me grab the share link. I'm going to copy that, and then we're going to go into Page Wheel. All right, so in fact, let me stop back in the dashboard. So, and I do not know why my images aren't loading today. It's just the way today is. So
I noticed that the other day, but I will say, yippee yahooey, that when you change a featured image like in your thing, it changes it in your little product list. So,
good, 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 good. I know, and I know there's, by the way, like let's digress for a second while this is loading. The white screen of death. You know, well, it's a nice message, but we call it the white screen of death. We have about 75% of those killed, but you're still going to see it every once in a while. Just screenshot it, send it to me in live chat, and then refresh your page, and you're on. But if you send me the screenshot, I send it to the team and add it to the ticket so they can follow that. Okay, so I've just logged into Page Wheel. I'm going to go to the product builder because this is a product that we're going to build inside of Page Wheel. And again, I hate that these images aren't here, but we're going to go down to the transcript or brain dump. For those of you who've been with Page Wheel for more than a minute, this is a new feature so that you're going to see, instead of 3 things, you're going to see 4 things. And I wish you could see I'll reshoot this when we have images showing up. So what this basically is you could, and I'll just scroll to the bottom here. What we're going to make is one of these things from a video or transcript. And let me just go, it takes a minute to load. So I'm going to go ahead and paste my YouTube link in there that I just grabbed from, and that was Feature Friday last week. So it's going to pull like the information from the video, and then you can see it just is a whole bunch of stuff that auto populates from my my last training in Feature Friday. Now, I thought we would want to have you guys have the ability to pull in the exact transcript. And I changed my mind after Rachel talked me out of it because, because especially me, there's a lot of there's a lot of ohs, there's a lot of digression. I mean, I come full circle a lot, but it takes some circling. So, what's really cool about this is it pulls in this, and then AI creates your summary. Okay. So, it pulls in my ums and my ohs and my circling and all that kind of stuff and pulls in the top takeaways. Now, at this moment, full disclosure, this is in super beta. It was launched 24 hours, 48 hours, 36 hours ago. And so right now, there may be some things you need to add. Like right now, the main point doesn't seem to be populating right now. So you may want to do that yourself. You could go into this and grab something if you wanted to. This last week we talked about the upsell and bump features on Page Wheel. So I'm gonna say my main point was why your next product needs a bump or upsell on the offer page using Page Wheel. All right. And then Rachel said that the workbook right now is the most consistently working. So that's what we're going to do just because, you know, I mean, since I've never done this before, we're already like jumping off a cliff at this moment. The other thing that can happen because it is a pretty big AI pull from the AI source is if you do have slow internet, if you have an interruption, if you have a drop, you may have to push that button again because like the back and forth connection. Like here we go. And let me show you what to do. I'm going to screenshot this. I'm going to refresh and I'm going to, then I'm going to send it to myself. Da, da. There we go. All right. And that tab. All right. So this is where I'm going to go back. Oh, this is actually, I'm going to show you this other feature. Um, this is this is something that we've been needing for a really long time for those of you. See this red banner? That means you have more than one page will open in more than one tab. It allows you to continue, but FYI, this is where a lot of the saving issues happens because remember those pages are auto saving and you could be at one section in one space and another section another space and they're both auto saving. The other thing, don't be freaked out, but if you're on live chat with me and I go into your account, this is also going to show up for you. If your issue is something where I usually don't go in and change stuff in your account unless I'm like, hey, get out of your account. And this is the reason. But every once in a while, when you're messaging me in live chat, I will like go in and if I don't understand, I'll go in and take a look. And so this is like the little ghost of Holly. If you're only
And
in one,
if Holly tells you to walk away, walk away.
I have said walk away before. I've walked away before too. All right, so let's go back to where we were before, and it just dumped all the way. So let's actually this. I'm going to just keep the going on this and see if this what's going on. So I'm picking my colors. All right, so this is actually working. So this is the title based on the main point. Well, you can see that's a ridiculous title. Like, that's way too much. So let's just get rid of actually, let's run AI. Why would we work anymore? Maximum sales with a bump, boost conversions using an upsell, increase revenue with PageL. I like it. Let's grab that. And then, so that will condense the amount of information. Discover proven strategy that increase your sales with effective upsell techniques. That's not bad. I'm gonna see if we can. I would like to get the word bump in too. Here, let's do that. All right. And then I've never used that cover before. Let's go with it. All right, so this is what it came up with from that video. And there are some spacing issues, and I would probably not shout at people that much, but you can see preparing for seamless product linking, how do I organize my materials, what specific products or content do I need to create or gather to make it streamlined? Am I currently missing key and materials? So I love, like, it knows this is a workbook. It knows I'm teaching something. It's actually giving me questions for you to follow along with, like, and take notes and stuff like that, which is kind of ridiculous. Now, that you are going to find some spacing issues, like you see, and you'll find that you'll have, this one should have alerted me, but that's pretty normal with with AI, we have one of the things that AI is really difficult to cage in its length. And so even though you say, give me 150 words, sometimes it's 120 and sometimes it's 5,000 and it's just like over delivered. The other thing is we'll work on some of these formatting things as we get a little bit deeper into this. Probably, again, trying to get our headers to be a phrase or a sentence versus a paragraph and that kind of thing. But pretty cool. So let's look at how they did the benchmarks. Utilize copy packs within Page Wheel to brainstorm, hone, and promote your products. Learn the difference between order bumps. Prepare your products, including videos and workbooks. Understand limitations and possibilities, and focus on simplifying. So probably in this case, I would go through and decrease the amount of words on the page just because I don't think they're necessary. But one of the things I do like about AI is obviously it gives you more than you usually need. So it's just a simple like backing up and maybe rephrasing something. And then it even puts the about me on the end, and which is really kind of cool because most of the time that you're putting a workbook out to coordinate with a podcast or a video or something like that, you're probably leading them to somewhere else. So I would encourage you to use this last page, which is set up as an About Me page, to also include a call to action to what they need to do next. So they listened to your podcast, they did, went through the workbook of the YouTube video. What's the next step for them? So in this case, for us, it might be say, hey, come over to Page Wheel and make your first product this afternoon or something like that. So get a nice call to action. So you can see that there's some editing to do in here, but for the most part, and for those of you that have been with Page Wheel very long, this is the first time, and I'm really, really excited about this, that we have multi-page prompts. So you've always been limited to 1-by-1 pages in the past, which has been constraining to some, and I'm included in that. And so this is really cool that we have this feature now. And so you'll probably see that launch down the road in other ways, in other parts of Page Wheel as well. So now I would love if Lana doesn't mind for her, because she just made one recently. So Lana, what was the video that you did that you made one? Oh, you're muted.
Okay. Well, what I did is I went to my YouTube channel and I picked out a YouTube video that I did a long time ago with an author friend of mine. And I mean, this is several years ago. And it was called The Power in Community. And it was the power in community with authors and how if authors get together, you can collaborate and work on different projects together and everything, and how building a community of authors is just like building a community of crafters or any other sort of community that you want to build. So I just went to just like you just did, and I got the YouTube URL. I pasted it in the bottom and did the summary. It did everything, and it gave me the title, and it was a really good title.
Oh, good.
And so, and then I just hit. I did the workbook too. I didn't know about about it being the better or whatever,
Yeah.
but I chose workbook, and it created a workbook that I was like, I cannot believe. Okay, now we've done some things with the Amazon. We've done some things with some of the other things. Copy pack. I mean, everything is great. But sometimes going to another person who is doing something, there, unless they got a little bit more tech involved or know a little bit, it's kind of hard to explain to them how they can do this and it just automatically be poof right there in front of them. And so anyway, so we got some super stuff, but I think this is super where I can go to a podcaster and say, how would you like to create a workbook from your podcast with minimal, editing, and have it, in a very short period of time. And that's really a really good selling point, even if it doesn't sell. I mean, even if I don't sell it, even if I just say, this is something you can do. And so, and it worked great. I do agree with what Kim put in the comments or the chat about how to maybe change the about page.
Yeah.
But it didn't really matter, because I just changed the about page to my picture. I put in my own words, and it's just a simple editing thing. It was not that big a deal.
Yeah, let me remind you guys of two things on that. I'm going to go back to my sharing. And while you were talking, by the way, I just took it through the publication period, and I will come back to this to create the website in just a second. But remember, if you have an About Me page that you absolutely love, or maybe you make a podcast About Me page, you could just save that page and then pull it into future books and either delete the page that. And by the way, you save a page by hitting the heart, and then your saved pages are in the little folder. So you could say like podcast about me or whatever you want to do. The other thing I love about that, as somebody who's had a podcast in the past, is that there's always that delay in general. Like, you might go live on YouTube or somewhere else to actually record the podcast, but a lot of times then you're uploading it into, Spotify, all the things. And so if you could run that transcript from wherever you recorded and then put it into the workbook, by the time you upload it into Spotify, wherever you're syndicating, is that you could then have a lead magnet for that podcast in the notes of that podcast. And that could just be something that you could be creating a list of your listeners. The power of the ability to remind your listeners to come back and to future episodes, to special features, to sell to them, to congregate them, to bring them to other places of your content is super, super powerful. So even if you don't go to the thought of doing something for everyone, do maybe your most listened to episode, run a workbook for that. And then that could be a simple lead magnet on all of your podcasts from here on out, saying, hey, did you grab the workbook and listen to my most popular episode? Or if you have something that is foundational to what you teach, that a lot of other things kind of spin off of, put that foundational information in the podcast notes. By the way, as somebody who's obsessed with search engine optimization, if you have a podcast, that description area is freaking gold. And the reason for that is, and you can put links in it, and you can write a literal book in there. Like, I don't know. I have never gotten to the point where they're like, you can't put that much information in. But the reason for that is it is syndicated onto very, very high domain spots. So like, some of the highest domains, like domain qualities, what, like Google level domains, almost, Spotify, iTunes, all these other things. So don't overlook the fact that you have such valuable real estate. In fact, I did a podcast for that space. So like, that's how important it is that I launched a podcast. So I had that safe space for search engine. And the cool thing is that's how I bookmark things down the road. I listen to a podcast, I hear a sponsor or something that, and I end up going in and having a whole bunch of links from the notes on my phone. So I can't be the only one that does that. All right. So there's lots of ways to use this. Let's go in and just remind you how quickly that you could have this ready for an opt-in. So here's the book we just made. Obviously, I didn't make any edits, which I probably would go in and do that a little bit before I launch it. But with Page Wheel, you could launch it and edit it later too. So
Yeah. Hey, and
yeah,
Holly, if I may add
yes,
another
please.
thing while this is doing this, and that is kind of what I had in mind, but then I decided editing wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But this is the crown jewel of the whole thing. And that is when you go in and you make the sales page. I actually will have to say I did not have to make a change at all. It was so perfect that I just like, oh my goodness. And then when I went to the delivery page,
Hmm.
then I was able to, okay, so wait, what if I give someone this workbook and they haven't even seen the video, The Power in Community? Well, then on my delivery page, I was able to go ahead and add the video, The Power in Community, on my delivery page. So if someone gets the
Great
Power in
idea.
Community workbook,
Yeah.
then, right there where it says that little blue area,
Yep.
and I added my community, and then right underneath that, I added a new section and added the video. And so it was like perfect. Now, I have to only say one thing that wasn't as user friendly, and that was the email. The email kind of came out a little weird, but, and I had never seen it come out as weird as some of the wording that it had on it.
Yeah.
Uh, but but all that's easy to edit. It's not that difficult. But
And
this right here though, the sales page and the delivery page were like gold.
so I think I still have, yeah. So what we did, so there's the video of the that we made the workbook for. So I'm adding this onto the delivery page, just like Lana did. Um, like spoiler alert, we're looking at making that an automatic thing, so that when you put in that link, it will automatically populate into a video, either on the offer page or on this delivery page. The It's not a terrible thing to have it on the offer page as well, since most you're using it a lead magnet usually to connect the two. So we're still kind of thinking that through a little bit, but that will be something that will happen. The the sales pages, we are working through a like a systematic AI upgrade to those. So there's still some places that are a little bit funky, but they should be improving over time. Like Lana, I'm glad it worked really well for you, Lana. The emails, we have not gotten there yet. So there are some super weird emails going out right now. That's why I'm like warning you to edit them, because it is a little bit of a train wreck in some ways. And let's go through and see what this one was.
What does that mean right there when it says invalid format or whatever?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been doing that on all of them lately. So I think they're still messing around. They're still messing around though with the image stuff on there. I know that that has been a pain point for many of us for a long time. So actually, this is not terrible. And what I like is go download, keep reading and learning, and take it even further. So there, but check the links, make sure this sounds like you. It doesn't look like, oh yeah, there's some weird stuff here. Yeah, there's weird stuff. So edit accordingly. And then, by the way, remember now we're going to publish this. We have our links, but so you made the video, you made the workbook PDF opt-in. Now you're coming over here to create a social media plan to promote that podcast workbook combination, that video combination, that conversation combination. So like all of these things come full circle right here, right now, because you're going to go here. You're going to create your calendar, get some ideas, and then just go out and do your social media posting so that you can drive traffic and get those people onto your list. And in some cases, this may be a paid product. I don't want to discount that for some of you, that you might be giving the podcast away for free. You might have, the workbook in a community that's paid. You might have a price tag on the workbook. There's a lot of different ways to go about that so that you're creating monetization from that online community. All right, any questions?
Just a comment, you can use unlisted YouTube videos as well. I tested it the other day, and so they don't even see the video unless you give them the link. So you could make it a product, right? So
Yeah, that's beautiful. I hadn't even thought about that. So remember on that delivery, and in that case, you definitely want it on the delivery page. The delivery page, you can use any YouTube link, which would be unlisted or listed. And so that you basically have a super secret course.
yeah, they're
workshop.
not gonna, I mean, they're not gonna stumble across it on your YouTube channel. And
No.
the other, yeah, so I did unlisted and well, something else, but it slipped my mind. I'll circle back later.
Yeah, and I would just say, don't overlook even your, like Lana did, the published content. Because remember, what does YouTube have, like a million upload every hour or something ridiculous. So the fact that you have something on your YouTube channel from 7 years ago, I will promise you, no one else in the world knows that.
I know.
So like creating places where you're curating your own content to save people time and energy from even going through all your crap, and I say that lovingly, could be a really, really helpful thing too. So, and one of the things that you've been seeing on Reels and those kind of things are like 5 ways to do this, or 2 ways to do that, or 7 ways to do that. Thinking about creating hubs for that content. So maybe you have a reel go out today that is 5 ways to do something else. Send them the link to an opt-in of a workbook with those 5 things, with those 5 videos, that kind of stuff you could easily do with a real simple system. So there's tons of ways to get those like tentacles of promotion out. Christina.
So I noticed when you were making the workbook or whatever, the title was too long and then you used AI to help. Is that at symbol that's next to the title? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I haven't
And
used it before.
yeah, let me go back to that because that is all over Page Wheel. So let's go back to the main thing of Page Wheel here.
But Holly, when you can't use that little at thing though inside the product on a page unless it's an added page, is that right?
So yes. So the when there is and when there is a like a prompt box in the upper left hand corner when you're editing a page, that means that there is AI for that page.
Okay.
So let's go into maybe one of these. I'll just go into one of my older products, and who knows what we're opening up right now. So I'm going to close down my other tabs so we can clear the red warning lights. All right. I am going to screenshot that. And
It's going away. It's going away.
It's less and less, but it's still, my blood pressure goes about to 1,000,000 when I see it.
Oh gosh.
It's teaching me deep breathing techniques.
Yeah, I haven't been screenshotting that. I've just been refreshing.
Yeah, if you don't mind screenshotting and if you have a minute, just send it to me because I literally am making, so I don't even have any pages in this. So this is a good thing. So yeah, any of the add-a pages, these are all done with AI. So let's just show you how that would look.
Okay.
And this will, when we start a book, it will auto-populate whatever the title is. But sometimes your title is catchy and sweet and not necessarily super descriptive. So like this is a historical timeline planner. I don't even know why I did that. So by Holly Homer, who is a family historian of 20 years. So remember, the About Me page is going to write it like an About Me page. So let's go ahead and rerun that with a little bit more details. And it's going to be like, hi, I'm Holly Homer. I've been family history for over 20 years. So that you can see how you can really hone in on like some details. So this is especially helpful in some of these pages where your title's kind of general, but on this page, we want the 5 steps for X. Now, let me show you that when we get, let's do a page that has like steps. Let's just do that one. Just like the About Me page, the AI in Page Wheel knows what the page format is. So in this way, it's going to automatically, it knows I'm making a historical timeline. So it's going to automatically make steps to that. So you can see research family history, identify key historical things, collect birth dates and death dates. So it's creating what it thinks I need. But what if I was like, oh, I am not really doing that. I'm doing a historical timeline planner of the U.S. Civil War. You could get it really, really research causes, document the emancipation riot, identify key political features. You see how it changed immediately with just a few more things. So using that can be really helpful. The other place you can find that is sometimes in this editor bar, you can find it, and that would be on the website side. So let's go ahead and go over there. On the website side, if you use that on the upper left-hand corner, it's going to rewrite the entire website page, which if you're like, when you just get there and you're like, I'm not attached to any of this language, no big deal. But if you've like done a lot of edits, you may not want to. So in this case, I might, For Families by Holly Homer. Let's just run it again and see if it gets a little bit more specific. Oh, the magic. Oh, well, it didn't even, and in that case, the AI got cut off somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and just refresh the page and see if it refreshes. It reloaded, but it's not awesome. Oh, this must be a short and sweet. Sorry about that. Let's go over the digital product. But what I want to show, so that actually worked a lot better. Let's go into you could say here, we could run AI for just the section that's being edited. You could run it by running that. The other thing that I love about this is that you could you could also refresh the section to make it look different, but it's going to keep all the same language. And sometimes you have to go back to go back. So, but anyway, the refresh section will take you through a different carousel, and the AI will take you through a different carousel there too. So it sent me back over here. And because I hadn't saved anything, it will be interesting to see what we end up with, some sort of a combination of the auto saves. So it took me back to that early one. So I would have some work to do because I didn't save the digital products thing, but here we go back to that. And if that's the one I seem to like best, so let's go ahead and save it there. All right. All right. Anybody else have anything?
Thank you, Holly. I've just got to play around with it.
Yeah. And remember, I'm on the other side of the live chat. If anything comes up, you're like, I don't remember how you did that. Oh, yes, Kim added a clickable link to the video in the workbook. I think that's a really good, in fact, we should add that. I'll put that on the list. Where did you put that, Kim? Do you want it on at the beginning or at the
I
end?
put it early on just so
Okay.
they would see it.
Yeah.
I forget, but I was just playing around. So I
Yeah.
grabbed the video link and I ran the thing. And then when it gave me the workbook, I stuck it in there because I thought it's not a bad idea to be sending them back and forth again,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
or if they haven't seen, I can't imagine why they wouldn't have seen the YouTube video if they have the workbook. Who knows, right?
Right.
Well, weirder things have happened. So
Yeah, I'll talk to Rachel about it. I think that's a really good idea.
yeah.
And then
That way, if there's somebody shares my sales page somewhere, maybe the first guys
yeah.
haven't seen, or this person that gets to share hasn't seen the video, which the workbook's not much good without.
Well, and the other side of that is so often like it's so easy to like lose track of like you downloaded the workbook and you're like, oh crap, where's that video or podcast now?
Right.
I'm like, you can't overlink.
No, you can't. The other question I had was, and it's completely different because I'm doing an event, so I'm using a PageWheel event page. Can I
Yeah.
ask you about that?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Got it all working. It's great. I'm doing a free tour of membership.io, so y'all are invited. There's a link on the PageWheel page. But anyway, just it said somewhere I could add a calendar link, but I was in a rush, so I skipped that. How would I use that? I understood how to add the Zoom link so it would show up after they got the email
Yeah.
or when they got the email.
So
How would I get
let's
the calendar link so they could link it to their calendar?
Yeah, let me go into, let's just see if we can.
I don't even really know how to operate my own calendars.
Yeah, I can show you exactly that. So let's make this a live event. So this is really fun because now you could use that workbook as part of a live event. Maybe you're expanding on the topic that you've talked about that brought them to you.
They can ask you questions in person.
Q&A for, oh my gosh, Q&A for your podcast. Holy crap.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So, yeah, like bringing them into a VIP event from, the podcast, from the video, that kind of stuff. So let's do a Q&A. I love this idea. Whoops, I need to be able to spell. Q&A. So let's put the event date. We will make this tomorrow, and we're going to make it at 9 p.m. And then it's not going to be weekly. It is not going to be weekly. This is not
super clear. I think if you
why does that default for, it's on local. I'm sorry.
okay.
But still it says weekly. Let me screenshot that and send that to the team.
Yeah.
All right. So the Zoom link would be your Zoom link, and then your calendar link. Let me show you how to, I feel like, let me just grab the page wheel one from today.
So I set it up in my calendar?
Yeah. So, let's see, I think it's in the editor. Does anyone
I guess I'll have to
remember?
learn that.
Yeah. More actions. I feel like I do this all the time. Now I can't remember what it was. You find it does anyone remember how to find this? The link.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that doesn't understand this thing.
Yeah, I probably have to go. I was going to be really slick and show it to you, but I think maybe it's when you set it up. Let me see if I can set up a new. So page wheel, live trainings. Oh, it's a link to the entire calendar that might have multiple events. So
okay.
It is, yeah. If you go to settings and sharing, you'll see it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Settings and sharing. Okay. So
and you can also just click on it and it'll give you a share link.
But not to the whole calendar.
So that's the calendar link right there.
Yeah, but you want individual.
I just want one link.
Where do I go? Where do I go
to get that
link?
Click on the event for the day you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go to it.
And then there it is, says join Holly here.
Yeah.
You just copy that.
Just copy that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But that's in the description. That's not a link to to this event. I think it's a calendar. I don't know. Anyway, you can do it from the calendar. That's why we set up like the page wheel calendars, the different calendars for the different days.
Oh, what if you click on the three dots right there?
That's what's so weird is it does it. It says copy to
Oh,
all
it
my
says
other
copy
calendar.
to, but it doesn't say.
Public. Let's publish the event. There it
That's
is.
probably good.
Ta-da!
All right. So if you publish it, and then you're just
And
gonna
then
copy
copy.
the link right there,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then okay. Whew. I knew there was
So
a
that
way
only
to do
shows up on
that.
my calendar until somebody gets the link, and then it shows up on theirs if they add
There's
it to their calendar.
yes,
Yep,
yes, and
perfect.
so you
Okay.
have to. That's right. You have to publish the so it's public, and then you can share the link, and then it'll show
That makes
up on
sense.
theirs. And so it only took what 5 of us together to figure that out.
The hive mind. It's a
This
beautiful thing.
this is why we need to get together.
You know how long it would take me by myself? I've been doing this for 4 years and I still haven't figured it out. So thank you, 5 people.
Yes, exactly. Bring your questions to Feature Friday. We can fix
That's
your
right.
life with 5 simple people's input.
And then we just drop that in, so they'll get that on the delivery,
Yes.
right?
So then,
Link and
if
the
I think I did, let's just full circle this right now. So then we're going to go back to the page wheel. We're going to add the calendar link. Yeah, it's a big old crazy one. If you do have a Zoom password or whatever, you can save. And then so this stuff will show up here. I do not see the calendar link, interestingly enough. Let me see. Let me go
Are you
back
on
to
the
the
page?
delivery
Yeah, you are.
page, offer page. So the offer page is going to show them not super specific details so that it's the date and time so they can make arrangements and it's online. But by the way, the AI on the event page is a known issue that it's not fully populating. So we're working on that. You'll just have to do a little extra typing right now. But I need to see why the calendar link isn't showing up when we add one here. And if you need to edit anything in that like little pop-up, just click on this section and it will pull up that thing so you can edit it.
I kept going out and coming back in.
Yeah, well, and the other thing that will happen is if you're like, oh, I want to like edit this, sometimes when you like click right here, the pop-up will open and you're like, so, but
yeah, when you had that open just then,
yeah,
it showed the calendar link too.
yes, and it's not showing up on this, so I'm just going to make a little ticket and
so that when you sign up, Lana, you can click on it and get it to add it to your calendar to remind you to do the thing, right? So
right,
yeah, and maybe let me see if it put it in the email. It did not. So and right now I have a ticket out because the other thing is like your email is saying go register and they just registered. So that does not compute.
yeah.
But at this point, and I was testing, by the way, the local events recently, so that may be left over from that. But what you want this email and what it will eventually do is pull all of those details from that little thing and put them point into your email. The email can be rewritten also, by the way, Christina, by just clicking the AI button in the editor.
But it will still hold all the important points.
Yes. In fact, you see how I had not the right points before, and now they populated because I had obviously been testing this with another type of product before. So all of a sudden now it did include the Zoom link, even though it's not linked, at least they could get there if they copy.
It's not given the password there either. I just added it in.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So I will mention that to them that those two things aren't working, and we'll get that into the whole thing. Until that happens, make sure that your calendar link and your password are on your email that's going out to your people. So
I'm just going to email them all anyway the day before and go, hey, don't forget.
Yeah. Exactly. You cannot over remind them.
Yeah, it's true. The good ones send it usually a couple days before, the day before, the day of, and an hour before in some cases.
Yeah.
Right?
And on the rare occasion that I'm actually ready for it, I'm like, all right. But on the regular occasions, like I'll be like, oh crap, KJ's class is right now when she sent me 42,000 reminders. And she's like so creative. Like there's a sky plane going by that says it's happening, a helicopter
Ready.
lands. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Get off the phone.
Yeah.
or yeah, sometimes I'm Marco Poloing her and she's like, classes right now. Sorry. And still people go, oh, I missed the class. I didn't get a reminder.
Yeah, nobody knows. I didn't know it was happening. I forgot. And you're like,
I know. Like
know.
she does everything except for send Scuba Steve to the door and go, oh.
Well, that I will say, when your business gets to the level, text notifications are super great for live events, workshops, that kind of
Yes.
stuff. And when we were doing live event, it was literally, I think it was a 5 minute or less warning because people are just really short attention span.
Do you have a recommendation on what to use for that? Because at one point I was doing it, and it was like 50 cents a text.
It is so expensive.
It was like $200 to send a message to
Yeah. And
my girl.
so one of the things that we went to, and this is one of the reasons why we would do email notifications for unpaid things and text notifications for paid events. So because it was just super expensive, but I would like I'm sure whatever we used back then is either way better or way worse or not even around. I can't remember what we used. But I think like that's where I would look at, am I monetizing this? Is it worth those people, texting those people? Is it just a community builder? Then you probably are going to end up with an email or.
And it depends on your group. Like I only have about 30 or 40 people like that are coming regularly and want notifications. So I just use a little app called Reach. It's like $5 a month. But it's real time. You can't cancel them, like you can't schedule them, So
and really for
Could you
live
put it in a
events,
messenger chat?
Yeah, you could do Messenger, you could do ManyChat, those kind of things. I think Go High Level also has like a ManyChat type thing involved, and I think they also have a texting thing involved too. I'm sure it's extra money for both those things, but those integrations are available too. And really, we have been to the point in some of those where we would say we are going live right now. That's kind of almost the most useful one, because then they're clicking through to a live link. Whereas if you're like, hey, in 5 minutes, I'm doing this, a lot of times, like the person on their phone is like in an instant gratification situation. So testing out different things, and we found like even if they had gotten an email warning that it was the text that had the actual link in it that they were clicking through on. So,
and Telegram is free.
Okay, awesome.
Because you could create like a channel or something, and that's free, and you can message people.
I love it.
That way.
I love it. I do. I send them every morning. No one sees them. Yeah, the notifications on social media are piss poor. And like that's why, like literally, and it's their own fault that we can even survive on other platforms without them. Because if they would have just tightened up their own notifications, we wouldn't have realized we could go elsewhere. So it's kind of a mixed blessing in that, knowing that you're not tied to that platform, because they're not doing a very good job showing you to the people.
Yeah, it's one of the features. I'm doing this membership.io walkthrough, right?
Yeah.
But one of the new features they added is you have your own community. And it's like a Facebook group, but everybody sees everything. And the admin can send something to everybody. It sends them an email notification or a phone notification. And nobody misses anything. So there's no algorithms involved. But now that's a paid product that I'm using. But still, you know what? I'm seriously considering starting my free group over there.
Yeah.
Right? Just because that way I know they, instead of 2% or 3%, they'll all see it.
Yeah.
There'll be no excuses.
There's always been this balance of, well, people are already on Facebook. So, but if people are already on Facebook and not seeing it, then we're like, it makes these decisions a lot easier. So there's a balance there. And, but that's, again, one of the reasons why we need a list. We need, we need a way to move these people from all these different platforms to wherever you need them to be so that you can actually serve them. So
in a better, like a higher level sort
Mhm.
of thing. So it's, to me, it's like, it makes sense for me to build a free group there where people can get used to the whole system anyway. And it's very, very similar to Facebook.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be no shell shock.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things I'm like, I think the page gets too, the less your reach is, right? That's, it starts getting, and this happens when you hit 100,000 people, it falls off and it just stays falling off for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, you keep growing and it blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah.
It's one of those things, right? It's kind of like you can't have them in too many places, right?
No. Yeah, exactly. And there's research that shows that, like, we talk about like 7 touch points, but online sometimes it's even 7 touch points across several platforms. So, well, yeah, they saw you on, they saw your video, but then they got that email. Then they got, they saw you on Instagram. Oh, they watched your YouTube video, like they visited your website. So you can't overwhelm them. Like the algorithm has made it so that it's really hard to spam. And in our cases, a lot of times that's not spamming, that's just informing, reminding, all that kind of stuff. So whatever, be aggressive. Do not there's no way for them to see too much of you.
I tell my husband all the time, it's not nagging if you do it the first time.
And they're not going to do it the first time, by the way.
No, it's not spamming if you just sign up with the dang form.
Well, and then the other thing, we were at this thing yesterday, that the average sales cycle is 60 days. So like, not only do you have to be in front of them 7 times, but you have to be in 7 times over a period of time that they will remember you. So like, this is why, like, it's not okay. Well, and everybody should feel really good about themselves, because when I say you've posted 6 times about it and you're like, why have I have any sales, or why didn't do as well as I thought, I'm just going to give up. And like, hey, like, not 7 times. That person has not seen it 7 times, and it has not been over a 60-day period. So
they had to march around the wall 7 times to get the wall to fall.
And that was a week. That sales process was a week. So, in fact, when they came with 1 visit, only 1 woman took them up on it.
That's right.
And there were trumpets.
There were trumpets. That's what your social media is missing. Trumpets. So trumpets today, go out and trumpet. So, all right, everybody, have an amazing weekend. Test out the YouTube stuff. Do not expect it to be 100%. Let me just put the little disclaimer there. But but a lot of it is working that is good enough for you to push something out this weekend. When you have feedback on anything, even if it's not a problem, if it's just some feedback, just push that live chat button over. I am slow to respond on the weekends, but that doesn't mean we're not making a folder of all these things and making things better. So have an amazing weekend. Bye.